years of adults. So it would take a massive length of time if all those students kept their view and those that replaced them at university developed the same view. It would take 20 years for there be sufficient of those students in a position to vote to actually overthrow the government democratically, and I use that term in its loosest sense.
Yes, but the last thing you want there is bloodshed.
We already...
the change has got to start somewhere, and the wind of change now is blowing there.
It may well be, and indeed in my view is, the last thing that any country would want, bloodshed. However, the country already has bloodshed. It just happens to leak out of black bodies.
Yeah, and white as well. You know, I mean, the ANC blow people up. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying it's right on any side. And the last stand I'm going to take is on either side. But I'm saying that from somebody who has lived there for a considerable period of time...
Might I suggest to you, David, that whilst the ANC do plant bombs and blow people up, it is the majority, or the majority of those that die as a result of violence are black. There's no question of that. No question at all.
Well, I haven't got the statistics to argue with.
I don't think you need them. You've lived there. I don't think you need them. I do appreciate that when you're there you can't get information because it's a crime. Yes. But all I'm saying is that if the attitude is changing, that changing attitude appears not to have manifested itself yet in the government.
But how soon do you expect something like this to take? They've been in power since how long?
Indeed, yes. I expect it to
so
take...
It's got to be slow.
I expect it to take a great deal of time, David.
Yes.
The trouble is that the black population of South Africa may well not be as patient as I'm prepared to be, sat in my comfortable home in Lancashire.
Well, I'm prepared to be. I think they should be given the equal rights to vote.
Indeed, but the problem is, David, not that I think they should, or even for that matter that you think they should, or, if I might say so, that the students of South Africa think that they should. The reason,
of the future.
Would you like to listen, or are you totally and utterly South African and have no ability to listen?
I'm English.
I will prove it and shut up. If we, that's you and I, and the students of South Africa feel that the black people should have the vote, but the black people of South Africa look to their government and see that they have yet again, their white population, yet again elected a government, given it a greater mandate to maintain the foot on the throat of the black South African people. Do you think the black South African people are going to be like you, like I, and be rational and patient, or are they going to use bloodshed to get their way?
No, they will use bloodshed to get their way. But
indeed they will. So, well, justification is irrelevant. You tell a corpse that he died in a good cause or a bad cause, and I promise you he or she will not care a fig.
Well,
he will lie there just looking up at you.
Northern Ireland, the same thing then?
I try to, frequently, on this programme. I'm not arguing that bloodshed is the answer. I'm not arguing that it is a good idea to send troops in. What I am arguing against is your suggestion that the change will be allowed to arrive slowly. The matter is somewhat more urgent. South Africa...
No, I wasn't saying that the change will be allowed to arrive slowly. All I'm saying is the change has started. And
yes, it has. But
it's got to start among the whites.
David, it isn't me that you've got to convince. It's the people who will decide whether or not to fund and organise armed insurrection within that country. Those people do exist. Those people are working hard to get that status quo brought about. Now, the South African government has a choice. It can either follow its clear mandate to put the foot severely on the throat of the black people,
which is wrong.
Wrong, but that is its mandate. That is what it believes. As soon as Botha was elected, he reinstituted and indeed strengthened his, should we say, laws against the press. That wasn't because he just had an election where he'd been invited and suggested that he'd be more liberal. Right. So what I'm saying to you is that whilst you and I can pontificate about the right and wrongs of sending in troops from the United Nations, there are nations in our globe, on our globe, in our world, who will send in troops. They will train South African blacks to fight, and the streets of South Africa will run with blood. Now, it might be possible to avert that, but the white government is not going to.
No, I and I agree entirely.
So there isn't
My
time.
point
There
was-
isn't time for us to wait for these admirable students to percolate into the system and then through it.
My point was that the young lady was going on so much about South Africa, I would have liked to have asked her if she'd have lived there, whether she was just taking it from the press reports and the adverse publicity. Which,
David,
you know,
I'm sure that she hadn't.
we get
David,
over
I'm
here.
sure that she hadn't lived there, because if she had, she would have said so. Have you lived in Northern Ireland?
Yes, I have.
And do you agree with what I said earlier? Do you agree with what I said
Yes,
earlier?
I
That
do.
that country too is
Yes.
full of peaceful people.
Yes, it is.
The fact
And it's
still
the
remains.
news That's stirring it up.
The fact still remains that the British government sent in troops, and as a result of sending in troops, the degree of violence in recent years has diminished. Maybe the same thing would happen in South Africa.
Oh, maybe, but I would doubt it.
Well,
I
you
would
can doubt it, but have you seen it happen? The answer is no.
Yeah,
and you're the
no.
and you're the one that appears to carry the opinion in your mind that if you haven't been there and you haven't seen it,
If
you
haven't
shouldn't speak.
experienced it, then don't go on about it. I
Well,
mean,
let me
the
tell you.
3-week working
Well,
group
let me
that went out
let me
there
tell you,
just came
David.
back,
David,
you can't
David. Let me tell you,
South Africa
David.
for 3 weeks.
David. You cannot hold an opinion as to whether troops in South Africa is a good thing or a bad thing because you've never seen it tried.
I've seen it tried from the Y side. and I think
No,
that's
you haven't
terrible.
seen it tried. You haven't seen the United Nations troops armed and working in South Africa. So, David,
No, I haven't, but
well,
I've
in
seen
that
the
case,
white South
David,
Africans
David,
going there.
David, what you have said is that Lydia, who was on earlier, has no. I nearly said no right, but I don't think you are saying that.
No,
we
yeah.
should call her opinion into question because she has not been there and has not seen.
And hasn't experienced it.
Right, well, David, when did you experience independent United Nations armed troops in South Africa?
Never.
Then shut your mouth, you've got no right to comment. Because you haven't seen it. Correct?
That's correct.
You have been Beswicked.
I'm going to get another one that says, well and truly Beswicked. Just for you, David.
Nurses. For 3 days this week, Nursing Times will be holding a major exhibition at UMIS, Sackville Street in Manchester City Centre. See all the latest products, equipment and services on the market for nurses today. Visit the Job Forum to meet employers who are offering all the latest nursing jobs. And there are over 20 seminars giving free guidance on all the career opportunities in nursing. The Nursing Times exhibition is on today, tomorrow and Thursday at UMIS, Sackville Street in Manchester. Doors open at 10 a.m. Admission's free to all nurses. Don't miss it.
So this is your new Fiesta from Bradshaw's, eh? Oh, very nice. Yeah, your driving's improved, very smooth.
Thank you for your patronising appraisal of my motoring abilities, Eric, but it's all thanks to the revolutionary CTX automatic transmission system. It simply means driving couldn't be simpler.
The Fiesta 1.10 gear now comes with the option of CTX automatic transmission at Bradshaw's. So you don't have to change gear.
What's wrong with what I'm wearing?
You're better off with Bradshaw's. Feel direct with Direct Windows.
Direct Windows, the best way to buy UPVC windows and doors in Lancashire.
We install the superb Bowater Halo system, and all work is guaranteed and underwritten at Lloyd's of London. Buy direct, avoid the middleman, and make hard cash savings. Visit the new factory showroom 7 days a week at 64 Red Scar Estate, Longridge Road, or phone Paul Kelly on Preston 703 008.
Feel direct with Direct Windows. Direct Windows.
How do, Bob?
Hello, Alan. I would like to talk about the Freemasons. I enjoyed your programme last night, but I didn't quite follow exactly what your view on them was.
Doesn't really matter what my view is. What do you want to say?
Well, although I'll accept that they do very good charitable work, I mean, I believe a columnist today quoted figures of close on 1.4 million over a 5-year period. I find if I can call it a conspiracy of silence and secrecy that surrounds the high echelons of the Freemasons quite disturbing, especially since I believe that there are some quite influential and powerful members of our society, who are actually Freemasons. I think this is maybe a point that wasn't raised last night.
Well, it might well have been raised, but whether it was, it doesn't matter. It's been raised now. What does it matter that influential members of our society are also members of private clubs?
Well, specifically not. It's more the fact that there is a secrecy that surrounds
this particular club?
Well, we have to examine whether there is such a secrecy. Yes, their rituals are secret. Yes, some of the promises they make are secret. But the Freemason Society, I think they're called, will tell you that they're not a secret organisation, but an organisation that has secrets. Now, there's a subtle difference between the two, is there not?
I do accept that, but then again...
They're not a secret organisation. They don't have covert meetings. They have dirty, great big stone edifices in the middle of our cities saying, "This is the Masonic Hall!" That's hardly a secret society, is it? They're not pretending they're not there. They're just saying if you want to join, you've got to climb through this little square door. In the ordinary door, and you've got to roll your trouser leg up, and you've got to play a silly prat and dance about like some half-brained lunatic. But there's nothing wrong with that. They're just like rugby club members playing dead ants.
Well, that is the view that we have of the secrecy in amongst the Freemasons, but then, not being a Freemason myself, I only have the word of other Freemasons that is the extent of their secrecy.
Well, let us put the boot onto the other foot and say, before you condemn, you need evidence. You can't, in this country, legitimately condemn somebody without a fair trial. You're telling me you do not know, therefore you're assuming it is bad. That's unacceptable.
I'm not actually making the assumption that it's bad.
What are you saying?
I feel there is cause for doubt, though.
There's always cause for doubt. I would call into question if a member of a rugby club was stopped for speeding and didn't get booked. I would say, hang on a minute, what's going on here? They used to play rugby together. Of course there's cause for doubt. It happens in all organisations. If you're a member of the Round Table or the Rotary, you get people to do jobs for you that are your colleagues. The wife's left me, Charlie, what should I do? Come and see me on Monday, I'll sort something out for you, Harry. How many times have I heard that in the bath at the rugby club, at Round Table dinners, at Rotary Club dinners? All these organisations where there are friends operating together, they will solve their problem. People ring me up at home, people from Red Rose Radio and the like, and say, what do you think of this, Alan? This has happened to me. What can I do? So people do it all the time. When I was in the Citizens Advice Bureau, people would ring me and say, Alan, this problem's happened, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we did that in secret. Yes, we didn't shout from the rooftops that we're working a flanker together. That is the world. That happens everywhere. Why condemn just the Freemasons for it? Simply because they like taking the tit out and rolling the trouser leg up, wearing slippers and looking a prat with a rope round their neck, promising to have the tongue ripped out. Just because some of our judges are immature, prattling imbeciles and want to join some half-baked organisation for children who manifest and pretend they are grown men, then fine, it does no harm.
Fine, I'll accept the point, and I believe the term for this sort of thing is the Old Boys Network.
Yes.
But once again, within the Freemasons, let me make a comparison with the rugby club you mentioned. You would be more likely to find a JP or a police commissioner to be a member of the Freemason Society than you would for him to be a member of the local rugby club.
Well, might I also say to you that if you were talking to a solicitor and that solicitor said he was a member of a sports club, you would assume that a sports club was either a squash club or a tennis club or a rugby club or a cricket club. You wouldn't for 1 second think it was a football club, because that's not a solicitor-type game. He's a professional man. Mm-hmm. You see, we do have these, should we say, prejudices in our
preconceptions.
Preconceptions are created by the prejudice, but preconceptions I'll accept. But we do have them. Doesn't make them right.
Yep.
There are a lot of... Indeed, I said earlier, the man who is responsible for showing people round the main Masonic Hall in London is an ex-bus conductor. Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't affect many people's lives. OK, Harry, you can have a free tuckney ride for now. Funny handshake, trouser leg up, you're all right for me. You get the bus to work for now. I mean, come on, I give people free bus rides when I was on the buses, and I'm not a Mason. Yep. His name was Dave Ockley, and I never got out back, and he lives in Southport, and he's a yard dog. And he's still a teacher. Mm-hmm. So we've all done it.
Yeah.
It's no good condemning Freemasons unless you've got some evidence to condemn them with.
Well,
OK?
Well, can I just make one final point, please, Alan?
It will be a final point.
It's not so much that I'm condemning them, and I'm not necessarily suggesting that there is anything amiss with the secrecy that surrounds their rituals and their society. But I personally find that for such a society with a broad spectrum of as well as your average man on the street, if you like, quite high-ranking officials, etc., that I find that there is a disturbing thought in my mind that there may become, or maybe there is, a conflict of interests between the public functions, if you like, and the Old Boys network.
Evidence.
None at all.
Good night. How do, Frank?
Well, there's not much time to talk before the news.
That's right, well, don't bother then. How do, Paul?
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
I'd like to express my support for apartheid. Contrary to other people in South
Never mind other people. Tell me what you've got to say.
The white government in South Africa are doing a good job.
Depends what a good job is. Doesn't seem to be a good job. They're upsetting a lot of the world.
Black government.
They haven't got a black government. I've got to stop you because it's midnight and it's got to be talking to the news rather than talking to you.
Midnight News, this is Alan King. A policeman has been killed and an off-duty UDR man and his mother are fighting for their lives in Belfast after 2 bloody IRA ambushes which have shocked even Ulster's war-weary population. Colin Duncan reports.
The gun attacks were mounted within hours of each other in North Belfast. First, a police sergeant was killed by an IRA man who pulled a rifle from a pram as his victim was about to drive into Antrim Road Barracks. Eyewitnesses say he used innocent children in a playground as a screen in case the RUC returned fire. Then a UDR soldier and his mother were critically injured as their car was raked with gunfire outside a Catholic church. Both are very seriously ill but stable. Colin Duncan, IRN, Belfast.
Irish Premier Charles Haughey's warning he'll resign and call an immediate general election if he loses a vote in the Dublin Parliament tomorrow. There's speculation that his Fianna Fáil government will lose the vote on a plan for deep cuts in the health service. A judge is under attack after setting free a nanny who killed a baby girl in her charge. St Albans Crown Court heard how Deborah Philpott, who suffers from epilepsy, lost control and swung the baby round by the legs. She said a voice told her to do it. The judge put her on probation and ordered her to undergo hospital treatment, but the baby's parents, Douglas and Vanessa Howell, say it's a disgrace.
The life of a child is worth 40 minutes in a courtroom. And the monster that did it is to be put in a hospital for 2 to 3 months and then let out on the streets.
And given pills for 3 years. Or for the rest of her life.
This cannot be so.
Sean Penn, the 26-year-old actor and husband of pop singer Madonna, has been sent to jail for 2 months for punching and spitting at a man on a film set. Ian Brodie reports from Los Angeles.
The bad boy of Hollywood broke the terms of probation imposed in March, when just 3 weeks later he struck out as an extra on the set of his latest film, Colors, in which he plays a hot-headed young cop. There is no appeal against the sentence, which he must start to serve in 2 weeks' time. To underline the point, the judge told him, "Be sure to bring your toothbrush with you." Ian Brodie, IRN, Los Angeles.
The head of a dating agency in Brussels has shot dead a client who complained that he was only being introduced to ugly women. Here's John Fraser.
29-year-old lonely heart Antoine Moussali got more and more frustrated after paying £80 to a Brussels dating agency. He'd hoped the women he was matched up with would be blonde-haired and blue-eyed beauties, but instead he complained they ranged from plain to plain ugly. But when he went round to demand his money back from the agency boss Alain Carlier, he was told, "What do you expect for £80? Madonna?" He was then stabbed several times and shot dead. A far cry from the Cupid's arrows he'd hoped for. John Fraser, IRN, Brussels.
Independent Radio News.
Ring him if you dare. Allan Beswick, the Late Night Show.
Not Allan Beswick tonight, but Kate Adams. This is Kate with you until the melodic moment. I'll start by telling you just a little bit about myself. I'm a student at Manchester University, and I've just finished my first year. I recently met Alan at an Argue with Alan gig in Manchester, and it was there that he invited me to have a go at taking over the lines. So, after the break, we'll be talking to Neil on line 1.
Kate, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you Evans a few people tonight. I've got a bit of a problem.
Go on.
My younger brother goes to school in Bury, and in his first year, it was originally called Seedfield High School, and in his first year, the school was amalgamated with another local school to become a Broad Oak High School. And then, when he came into the second year, the school didn't let any more first years come into the school because there were plans to close it. And what I wondered is, and it is now closed. My brother has just left school, just done his exams, and the school's now closed. I think it's going to be made into a teachers' training centre of some sort. But I was wondered why they would amalgamate the school in the first place.
Well, maybe that's because the actual numbers of pupils was dropping. Because this is a problem we have. The birth rate's falling, and in a way, there are too many schools. So what they are doing is they're amalgamating these schools, in a way, to save money.
But what was the point of amalgamating it if it was going to be closed anyway? All they've done in point is just change the name and then close it.
What, both the schools are under one name?
Yeah.
In one building as well?
No, the two separate schools were collectively known as one Broad Oak High School, yet one is now going as Broad Oak High School and the other one has been closed.
Well, I don't know. Why don't you ring the Education Authority and ask them, okay?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could...
Well, I don't really know. Okay, good night, Neil. And on line 2, we're going to speak to Sue. Hello, Sue. Sue's gone. Line 3, Michael.
Hello.
Hello, Michael.
Yeah, I started a job yesterday in a pub.
Yeah?
And so on the Monday morning I signed off. So I did a shift in the pub. And at the end of the shift she told me that she had to finish me up. Because, like, the people who she'd sacked before was claiming unfair dismissal. So she said she had to finish me. So I went back to the Dole this morning to tell them about what had happened, and she said I'm getting suspended for 14 weeks.
For 14 weeks?
Yeah.
For doing nothing?
For 1 day's work.
For 1 day's work? Don't really see she can do that.
Well, I've rang the CAB and say, well, you just have to go through the system.
Well, if that's what they say, isn't it?
But I think the whole system is totally unfair, don't you?
Unfair? It's unfair anyway. I'm going to speak to Ted on line 6. Oh dear, Ted's gone. So we'll go to line 7 and Michael. Hello, Michael. Bob. Sorry, we got that wrong. Bob. Line 7, Bob.
I'd like to talk about the north-south divide, if I may.
Go on then.
Well, why chip shops in north of Harwood better than ones in south of Harwood?
What do I think? Do I think people are better in the north? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Why chip shops in north of Harwood better than them in south of Harwood?
Chip shops?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I'd agree.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
I do.
You do. Why are pubs in south of Harwood better than them in north of Harwood?
Why are they? You tell me why.
Well, Jackson Park, you see. And all them in north of Harwood are full of Harwood, as you see.
Well, thanks for that. All the better for that. I'm rather stuck now. Who have we got on? Line 8, I think it's going to be Fred. So we'll speak to you, Fred, after the break.
Hello?
Hello, Fred.
Yes?
Hello, Fred.
Yes?
It's Kate here. Alan's not here, but it's Kate tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
It's still the same situation, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Freemasonry.
Pardon?
Freemasonry.
Yeah, go on.
There is a female part of Freemasonry that people do not know about.
I don't think there is.
There is?
I don't think there is.
Oh, but there is.
Well, go on. Tell me all about this female part of Freemasonry.
Yeah,
I'm dying to hear. Go on.
Yes, okay. And the main branch is in London.
In London, is it? Mm-hmm. So how many women are in this women's section of the Freemasonry?
I'm not allowed to tell you.
You're not allowed to tell me?
No.
Are you a Freemason yourself?
I'm not allowed to disclose that.
You're not allowed to tell me anything.
But come going back to the situation over the other Freemasons that was on, what I gathered were, and they were in the first degree. Yes?
First degree. Explain. Can you explain?
Well, in the first degree, they can only go so far.
I thought you'd come on to talk about that there was a woman's part to Freemasonry.
Yes, well, I'm coming back to this now.
Yeah, because I'm really interested.
Well, there is a female part of Freemasons.
Well, tell me about it.
Well,
you going to tell me about it?
I'll go so far and then I'll go off.
Oh.
Right?
I'm dying to hear. Go on.
Never be cocky in this world if you don't understand what you are talking about.
Well, how can I even hope to understand if you won't let me?
Well, just listen.
In fact, I prefer not to. I don't think we're going to get any further with Fred there. On line 2, I'm going to speak to Denise. Hello, Denise.
Hello.
Hello.
I'd just like to talk about South Africa.
Yeah, go on.
About the girl that was on before.
Oh, yes, Lydia.
Now, I'm South African. I hold a South African passport.
Mm-hmm.
I've been living here for 4 years. I've just returned from a 3-month holiday there.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know what she's talking about. If she'd lived there, she would understand a lot more things.
Will you tell me a bit about what it's like living in South Africa and what you see the situation in South Africa to be?
Well, okay. First of all, what you see on the news here is they're given the wrong impression, right? What they are saying is that the whites are killing the blacks. Now, in South Africa, you have your different black tribes. And now, the blacks want to run the country. But it's not just the blacks, it's the different tribes that are fighting each other to try and get to run the country. So you're getting the blacks killing the blacks. And what the police are doing is they're just standing by and they're watching the blacks kill each other. And they getting the blame for actually killing the blacks because they're just standing there and letting it happen. So, you know, what you get in this country is the wrong picture, total wrong picture. When I was over there, it had changed so much. I'd been here 4 years. I went over there and it changed totally.
I see your point. Well, thanks for that anyway. Let's hope Lydia's listening to that. We're going to have a break.
Ah, this is the life. A bargain holiday thanks to the late booking desk at National Travel World. We saved ourselves a fortune.
Not only that, but they gave us a microwave for only £79. I could have had 10% discount off any item over £100 at Centro, but I'd rather have the microwave.
Oh, so that's why you're reading a cookery book now, is it? But you won't be doing any cooking for another 2 weeks. We're on holiday.
Oh, yes, I will. I brought the microwave with us.
If you want a last-minute bargain holiday plus a microwave for only £79, book before the 30th of June at National Travel World's late booking desk.
Rotters, the Northwest's only big night out. Every Friday and Saturday from 9 p.m. till 2 a.m. Enjoy the time of your life with the best in music at Rotters. The best in hen party nights at Rotters with 4 bars, 4 dance floors and a better party night atmosphere. Check out Rotters, Oxford Street, Manchester this Friday or Saturday. Rotters, fun galore and a whole lot more. It's bigger, it's better, it's Rotters. Ring Manchester 236 4934. Manchester 236 4934. Rotters.
Please listen to my ditty. It may not be very witty, nor even slightly funny, but it will help save you money. For me, from cradle to grave, I aim to shop and save. I buy out I need, for next to nought indeed. There's meat and veg and cheese and pigs and booze and clothes and cards and sweets and pigs and pet food and household things. So shop and save a load down Blackpool's Waterloo Road, in the market they call new, and Overt Road, the M2. Thank you. Poetry in prices, from the New Market and M2 Market.
It's the place to come, where shopping can be fun. The Newmarket Waterloo Road.
Hello, Thomas.
Hello, is Alan?
No, it's Kate, I'm afraid. Alan isn't here.
That's better looking than Alan. I want to talk about. Can you explain to me why what people have against the monarchy, such as the extreme left of the Labour Party?
Well,
yeah.
Well, I think it's basically they see a lot of money being pumped into the monarchy, and you know, the royal family going out enjoying themselves, having a good time, and the country not getting anything in return.
They don't get anything in return.
Well, no. You asked me what the left think.
Are you in favour of the monarchy?
I am in favour of the monarchy. I think they do a wonderful job.
But Beswick isn't.
No, I think Beswick is. I'm not sure, but
Beswick's not sure. But
we're not going to discuss Beswick anyway.
Sorry, right.
Okay.
But I can see from some people's point of view that they're a bit narrow-minded because the amount of tourism we get from it, and the amount of jobs which are created from it, either directly by, say, Home Guard or indirectly from the tourists, you know, or amount of Americans and such like who come over just to see part of our monarchy, part of our history. I mean, Americans got virtually
well, that's right, Thomas. But then you can see that a lot of money. What the other point of view is that a lot of money is in fact spent.
But nothing like the amount we give back in return. I mean, surely is it probably one of the best investments we have?
I think so too. So we agree on that. Well, thanks for that anyway, Thomas.
Okay.
Bye. Good night. Hello, Andy.
Okay, I'd like to talk about the recent riots in South Korea, if I can.
If you are, then. Go on.
Right. Well, I think that people watching in Britain, in these major cities like Liverpool and London, in areas like Toxteth and Brixton, will see these riots fighting against the police. They'll start riots off in this country.
What, you really think that people watching the television are going to go out and say, hey, you see what's happening in South Korea? Let's go and kick
why not?
Oh, come off it.
I think they'll see how successful they are in South Korea.
Well, they don't seem to be getting that far in South Korea, do they?
They do what?
Well, what have they achieved in South Korea?
They beat up the police, haven't they?
Well, I think the police have been doing more of the beating up in South Korea than the students.
Yeah, I know, but they might want to do it over here.
I doubt it very much.
Why not?
Anyway. And we're going to go and speak to John. Hello, John.
Oh, good evening. I'm just in response to what that gentleman was saying about Freemasonry and there being a women's branch.
Uh-huh.
As far as I'm aware, there's not such a thing exists.
No, I didn't think there would be, no.
The nearest female equivalent is what's called Soutnport.
Yes, that's right.
Of which my auntie is one.
No.
And
a marvellous
there's nothing
organisation,
secret about it at all.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to shed a little bit of light.
Yeah, well, thanks for that anyway.
Thanks.
Okay?
Bye-bye.
Good night. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Can you believe it? A complete luxury fitted bedroom of real quality for just £350 plus VAT. It's true. At M&S Fitted Bedrooms of Preston and Bolton. For £350, we'll design, plan and fit 2 wardrobes, 1 bridging unit, 2 corner displays and 2 bedside cabinets. Do not buy a fitted bedroom till you've visited M&S Fitted Bedrooms, 342 Blackpool Road, Fulwood, Preston, or 156 Blackburn Road, Bolton. But hurry, this offer's for a limited period only. Open Monday to Saturday 10 till 4, Sundays 12 till 3. Hey, listen, the boss is away on holiday, so to get him back for years of stick, I'm clearing all his sockets, showers and cable. In fact, anything electrical at prices so low it'd go bonkers. The Triton T70 shower unit, trade price £61, my price £48.99, including VAT. Expel Air window fan, trade price £38, my price £31.50, including VAT. All this at Steve Gorton Discount Electrical Supplies, 39 Water Lane, Ashton, Preston, or Electrical Super Save Centre, 230 Chorley Old Road, Bolton. But hurry, the boss gets back in a couple of weeks and he's bound to fire me.
When you think about cars, it pays to think of John Wilding.
Whether you're planning to buy a new Ford, Lada or Citroen, John Wilding now has all the latest models of all 3 of these makes in stock and waiting for you to test drive. Alternatively, if you're looking at fully guaranteed used, you won't find a better choice than at John Wilding's 2 fabulous showrooms on the A6 at Garstang for Ford and at Westgate Morecambe for Lada and Citroen.
When you think about cars, it pays to think of John Wilding. John Wilding!
A street, a sound is the start of the day. It's the heat of the road, it's breaking away. A kiss, a glance, it is hot, it is cool. A smile, a chance, it is breaking a rule. It's just how you feel when you know it's for real. It's a hit, it's a Coca-Cola, is it?
I have a little message for you, Richard. You're a complete and utter prat. Just to remind you, it's Kate here, not Beswick. And I'm going to speak to Billy. Hello, Billy.
Good morning, Kate, and welcome.
Good morning.
I just wanted to tell you about the Seroptimists, actually, but somebody beat me to it.
Yeah, I know. I think that's what he did mean, in fact. Yes.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't think it's a national organisation. I think it's just throughout the Northwest.
You don't think the Seroptimists are a national organisation?
No.
I think they are.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but I thought it was just a Northwest organisation.
No. I think it is a national organisation.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, you're doing very well.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay. Bye. Good night. Hello, Jim.
Good evening, Kate.
Good morning, Jim.
Oh, yes, it is.
That's right.
I have information for you regarding Freemasons and particularly the Lady Freemasons.
Go on then. I'm interested.
There are Lady Freemasons lodges, and there's one at St. Raphael, not too far away. I could name the town, but I don't think I accept
well, could you tell me what you mean exactly by a Freemason lodge? I'm not sure.
Yes, the Freemasons organisation has a hierarchy, and it is broken down into lodges.
Yeah.
There are lodges of all types. There are temperance lodges and other lodges, but there are lodges specifically for ladies. The ladies are, of course, associated with the main body of Freemasonry, but the ladies do perform the rites. They go through their own hierarchy of degrees, and there's quite a lot of them. It's very little known, but certainly they are quite active.
Oh, well, thanks for that anyway, Jim. Okay?
Okay.
Good night. Hello, Philip. Philip?
Yeah?
Hello?
Hello. I want to talk about car thieves.
Okay, then. Do you tell me about car thieves? You're not one, are you?
No.
Okay.
I just had mine robbed the other day.
You had your car robbed yesterday?
Yeah, and I nearly caught him.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
And he was running away from the car. He smashed the window.
Uh-huh.
Running away from the car, and then they grabbed him.
You grabbed him?
Yeah, near enough. And I reckon they're just all...
You reckon they... Go on?
Just all divvies.
They're all divvies?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about all them, but you sound a bit of a one. Okay. Hello, Denise.
I'd like to talk about dogs found in the footpath.
Yeah, go on.
Particularly where I live. It's not a main road, but it's near enough a main road. And every morning when I go out, there's foul all over the footpath.
What do you suggest that should... Well, what do you propose that should be done about it?
Well, I think the owners should be fined, a heavy fine for it.
I think at the moment there is a fine system. I think it's something like £25 for fouling a footpath. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of catching the people who were letting the dogs foul the footpath. But it's a matter of that I never particularly catch them when they're actually letting the dogs do it. Yeah, and it's not very nice going out every morning and finding that there's, pals all over your front of your house every morning. I think it's scandalous.
Well, yes, I mean, I'm not particularly a dog lover myself.
I don't think the dog owners realise how serious the matter is. I don't suppose they let them do it on their own.
Well, let's face it, I mean, it's not the end of the world, is it really?
No, it's not.
All right, then.
It's not very nice.
I know, well. Anyway, I'm going to speak to John.
Hello, Kate.
Hello, John.
I'd like to tell you about an interview I had in London recently.
Okay, you tell me about it.
I won't name the agency, but it was to do with recruiting models, both male and female.
Yeah.
Now, when I went for this interview, I was kept waiting for a while in the foyer, and I was having a look at some of the stuff they produced on the wall and that.
Yeah.
And while some of the models were for catalogues and things like that, some of it was also page 3 stuff and topless models. Anyway, when I went for the interview, she interviewed me, this woman, and after interviewing me, she said, had any questions? So I said, how pornographic is some of your stuff? And she said, well, we don't do pornography. And I said, well, pointing to some of these pictures, well, I think some people consider this to be pornography. And we had a bit of not an argument, but a civilised discussion in which...
What's your point, John?
Okay, she was trying to make it a distinguish between glamour and pornography. And I found her attitude, especially as a woman, a bit disappointing. Because
what do you think about pornography?
I think it's at the best pathetic and at the worst very dangerous.
Do you think it should be banned?
definitely.
Well, talk about page 3, for example. Would you like to see that banned?
I would like to see those papers banned altogether, because even
Well, we're not talking about the papers, we're talking about
well,
the
we
actual...
are, really, because we're talking about why those
We're talking about
models...
one page.
No, we're not. We're talking about pornography, which is violence towards women, I think, especially even without the page 3. Even if you didn't have the page 3, the pages in those papers are pornographic and violent towards women, both in the way they present women and the way they talk about them.
Well, let's talk about page 3 in particular. I think personally that it's degrading for women to have pictures like that. I think that if we're going to have women on page 3, we should also have men, but maybe people wouldn't buy the papers if men were page 3.
The thing is, though, men don't get raped, do they? And even if women did want to rape men, which
So you think that page 3 causes...
No, I don't think it causes, but it's certainly part and parcel of the whole mentality that goes behind raping women. That is their object to be looked at, laughed at, poked at, thrown darts at. Also, having given this some thought over the last 6 months, rather than mouth on about things I don't know, I have actually read a lot of pornographic literature as well, so the type of stuff you get in Smiths and that. Also, I'm shocked about the words that are used in some of the stories.
Now, how many books have you read, John?
I've just the usual stuff you get in W.H. Smith and that.
It seems as though you must have got... I mean, why did you read more than one book? I mean, surely if you found it disgusting, you'd have read one and that would have been enough.
Well, I'll tell you why, because the reason I came across them was my flatmate who lives down with London, he buys them, and also his girlfriend buys them.
Hello?
Hi, I'm from Barney's Bangers. Just wondered if you'd be interested in a quality used car. Less than 1,000 on the clock and just 6 previous owners.
Hello?
This is Tricia from Tornado Typewriters with news of our new improved superfast model for those with quick fingers.
Hello?
Hello, this is Willie Finlay from Slap It On Painters and Decorators. I thought maybe your offices might be in need of a wee lick of...
Hello?
Oh, good afternoon. This is Tracy from Images of Preston. We thought you might wish to take advantage of our high-quality commercial and industrial photography or audiovisual production service.
At last, somebody's selling me what I really need. Tell me more.
Well, we can handle anything from brochures to exhibition photographs, along with audiovisual production for training, sales promotions, things like that. A number of companies...
If you're looking for high-quality commercial photography or a professional audiovisual production service, Images of Preston are worth listening to. To find out more on how they can help you, call Preston 22773. Preston 22773.
When you think about cars, it pays to think of John Wilding.
Whether you're planning to buy a new Ford, Lada or Citroen, John Wilding now has all the latest models of all 3 of these makes in stock and waiting for you to test drive. Alternatively, if you're looking at fully guaranteed used, you won't find a better choice than at John Wilding's 2 fabulous showrooms on the A6 at Garstang for Ford and at Westgate Morecambe for Lada and Citroen.
When you think about cars, it pays to think of John Wilding. John Wilding!
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Kate.
Hello.
Just quick words. That foul-mouthed cretin was on before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I caught what he said afterwards. So, if he's listening, he's a cretin.
That's right, certainly.
I was just going to ask you. I mean, it may sound a bit ignorant, but what exactly have people got against Freemasons? I don't actually know.
Well, I'm not sure myself. I think it's people don't understand all about the secrecy involved and why it should happen like that. I mean, I think that it's more a favour if you know somebody who's in the Freemasons, for example. Let me give you an example. If somebody was stopped for drinking driving, or was stopped for drunken driving or something, and the policeman was in the Freemasons and the person driving the car was in the Freemasons, people, I think, resent it because they tend to stick together as a club and they help each other, and sometimes that can get in front of the law.
But is that all it's just a club? I mean, people have been coming up with things like, they've got satanic rites and they've got various other things of devil worship.
There's a ritual as well, isn't there?
Yeah, I know. There's various things like people walking around with nooses around their heads, like Alan was saying earlier on. But there's nothing that actually breaks the law inside their own, like you put it, club, is there?
Can you speak louder, Dave, please? Because I'm having problems listening while hearing you.
Yeah, how's that?
A bit louder.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all it actually is, though. It's just a club. There's nothing actually illegal that goes on.
Well, I'm not really an expert on it myself, you know. I'm sorry that it's something that I don't really know much about.
It's just that everybody keeps ringing up and telling
I know. Yes, it seems to be very topical at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Dave. Good night.
Please listen to my ditty. It may not be very witty, nor even slightly funny, but it will help save you money. For me, from cradle to grave, I aim to shop and save. I buy out I need, for next to nought indeed. There's meat and veg and cheese and pigs and booze and clothes and cards and sweets and pigs and pet food and household things. So shop and save a load down Blackpool's Waterloo Road. In the market they call new, and over road the M2. Thank you. Poetry in prices from the New Market and M2 Market.
It's the place to come, where shopping can be fun. The Newmarket Waterloo Road.
Rotters, the Northwest's only big night out. Every Friday and Saturday from 9 p.m. till 2 a.m. Enjoy the time of your life with the best in music at Rotters. The best in hen party nights at Rotters, with 4 bars, 4 dance floors, and a better party night atmosphere. Check out Rotters, Oxford Street, Manchester, this Friday or Saturday. Rotters, fun galore, and a whole lot more. It's bigger, it's better, it's Rotters. Ring Manchester 236-4934. Manchester 236-4934. Rotters.
Ah, this is the life. A bargain holiday thanks to the late booking desk at National Travel World. We saved ourselves a fortune.
Not only that, but they gave us a microwave for only £79. I could have had 10% discount off any item over £100 at Centro, but I'd rather have the microwave.
Oh, so that's why you're reading a cookery book now, is it? But you won't be doing any cooking for another 2 weeks. We're on holiday.
Oh, yes, I will. I brought the microwave with us.
If you want a last-minute bargain holiday plus a microwave for only £79, book before the 30th of June at National Travel World's late booking desk.
Hello, Liam. Hello, Liam.
All right.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, I'd like to talk about sex on television.
Go on then.
I don't think there's enough, actually. I've been watching it the last couple of weeks.
You don't think there's enough sex on television? I disagree. No. I think there's enough.
You think there's enough?
Yeah.
Well, I've been watching it the last couple of weeks. I've been staying up late.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything offensive anyway.
Oh. You're really upset about it, Liam?
Well, I'm not upset. I think like people like Murray Whitehouse, when they're babbling on about this too much sex on television and all this, well, I haven't seen it.
Well, really, they're arguing that there's too much sex before 9 o'clock on television.
Well, I haven't
They're arguing more about the time. You're arguing that there's not enough sex on television. Oh, well.
Have you seen
I should give you Mary Whitehouse's number, shouldn't I? Okay? Thanks for that. Hello, Stuart.
Good evening to you, Katie.
Hello. It's Kate, actually. I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm not too bad at all. Is it rainy tonight? It's terrible, isn't it?
You in Manchester?
No, on the Mersey